I was watching the farmers' protests in Brussels. Yes, the one they didn't feature on the mainstream news. They were very big. There was a lot of farmers. There was hundreds of tractors. There was quite a bit of damage. And it got quite, let's say, unfriendly. And it struck me in my naivety, why is this not covered in the mainstream news? And then it struck me, why is it that leaders across the free and democratic world are so obsessed with containing farmers? The Danes don't want pigs anymore. The Dutch want to bankrupt their farms. The British, well, the Prime Minister basically shrugged his shoulders when he was asked if he knew that farmers were looking at killing themselves and said, "Oh, I've been made aware of loads of things." But it seems that that awareness didn't make Captain Flip-Flop change his mind. No, they're just going to have to die. It's imperative that people with the broadest shoulders carry the weight, which is code for farmers who own millions of pounds worth of land but make a 1% return on that are going to have to pay everything they earn for 10 years to pay off their inheritance tax, because that's fair. The equivalent would be if we made public sector workers' children pay back their gold-plated pensions for maybe 4 or 5 years. Broadest shoulders, they've done very well. So why is it everyone's got it in for the farmers? Because at the end of the day, we do need food. We do need to be able to eat. Well, in America, huge quantities of farming land have been acquired by the likes of Bill Gates. Now, much as I do have some admiration for Bill Gates, anyone who's ever had the opportunity to see the Pirates of Silicon Valley have a very good idea of how he got that money. And I've actually, I would say I've been in the same room as Bill Gates. And he is a very intelligent man. And he is a super coder, ultra geek, really knows the nuts and bolts of the code. He's on top of the details, you could say. But is he interested in the common man's interests? Bit less won over by that. I look at the obsession with electric cars. Electric cars are really cool. I like them. I was listening to one this morning. Sounded like a milk float, but I bet it performs well. But manufacturers are running into problems because not as many people want to buy electric cars as the government want to buy electric cars. Then we have the obsession with green, and it's great. I love the idea of renewable energy. But nobody ever seems to care that windmills only produce wind energy when there's a moderate wind, and solar only creates energy during the day. And biomass, well, we're burning trees. What part of that is actually green? How many forests have been destroyed so that we can say that we had a biologically renewable source? Did we plant the same diversity when we burnt the trees? No. Did we actually help the environment? Questionably. When I look at cryptocurrency, there's an obsession amongst central banks with having their own cryptocurrency that's matched only with the obsession with having digital ID. Now there's talk of the British government introducing a key on your phone so that at an operating system level they can read every picture you take, every file you save, every page you look at, every message you send. And that would be encoded that it does it automatically and then applies it against a filter of what's acceptable. So once it's in place, you can make anything unacceptable. The fact that it's all put up as some protection against harm to children doesn't allay my fears, because there's no concern for children when there's gangs of perpetrators. Look at the inquiry we're having, which is clearly going to be designed to minimise and diffuse and avoid any issues that were embarrassing. Don't worry, the police, the social services, the council workers and the MPs who covered it up for 30 years aren't going to feel the heat at their feet. Then there's the obsession that we're about to be attacked by Russia at any minute. It's funny that the British government seems to be in bed with China when it comes to allowing them to build the largest Chinese embassy outside of China. No problem at all. Oh, they're spying on MPs. Oh, we're going to scupper that case. Well, the chance of Russia invading NATO seems pretty much zero unless they've completely lost the plot. Whereas the chance of China invading Taiwan seems pretty high, since they've told us 1,000 times that they're going to do it, and they're actually building invasion barges that we've seen, and mock-ups of American aircraft carriers that they carry out dummy air raids on. They're preparing for war, and let's face it, America knows it. The US Marine Corps' latest strategy document was called something along the lines of preparing for war with China. Then we have immigration. Well, for 30 years, the people have said that they want controls on immigration. For 30 years, governments have stood saying they're going to control them. But they don't control. They actually encourage. Even the Boris surge. Right now, we're in December and there are hundreds of migrants crossing the channel. But this isn't because they're coming from some war zone. This is because government-funded NGOs help to shuttle people around Africa. Then government-funded NGOs help and encourage in the trafficking across the Mediterranean. Then they reach the Mediterranean and they wander around European countries, getting rejected at one after another. And then government-funded NGOs help advise them on how to cross. Then British-funded French police wave them off as they cross. And yes, every 3 or 4 months, that $500 million that we've paid leads to 1 or 2 ships getting slashed. Wow, they pulled their knife out and they slashed a dinghy. The strength of their action is amazing. Everything will be safe. But it's all theatre. And then they get to Britain. And, oh, they say they're 16. Send them to school. No one asks any questions. Oh, they're fleeing terror. We need to give them a 4-star hotel, free phone, make sure that they have enough money to live on, feed them. And as they know, in 3 or 4, 5 years' time, they'll get given right to remain. This is a coordinated desire to help these people enter the country, and it goes across the whole of Europe. So why is it that so many free and democratic countries are claiming to be wanting to limit immigration, but deliberately encouraging and supporting illegal immigration? Obsessed with putting digital controls on what you see and think and say. Removing the right to fair justice like jury trials. Wanting you to think there's going to be a war any minute now. And whilst they can track everything you see and do and where you go, with controls they have in place or want to have in place, the only way to stop illegal migrants working is to have a digital ID. Because a physical passport can't do that. Physical paperwork can't do it. Only a digital ID that everybody in the country has can protect you. So, all of these common aims, along with everything being green, whilst we ignore the fact that everything we use for the green energy is manufactured in China using non-green energy, and farming is being put in peril. Why do all of these democratically elected governments want the same thing? Why is there no variety? Why do they all want to shove these wonderful solutions down our throat? It's almost like someone's telling them what to do, but that would be a bit crazy. I mean, that would be a conspiracy theory. I put it down more to they've been taught the same nonsense from the same books by the same pseudo-intellectuals with the same obsession with left-wing talking points. But whatever the cause for the ubiquity of these rather odd plans, there is a lack of diversity of thought which is somewhat concerning. And even more lacking quality of discussion, where people are shut down if they don't support these policies. You're either wanting to destroy the world, full of conspiracy theory, or obsessed with children. Or maybe you're just questioning why it is that all of these countries have such coherence in their incoherent plans. If you wonder the same thing, or think you have the answer, why don't you click subscribe and tell me?